Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, gave my company the courtesy to match what another company that was actively trying to recruit me offered, and they said they already have a plan for if I leave. Returning a massive nearly empty box to Amazon, and so can you, smiley face. I can't collect mileage from my home office to my first stop. Okay. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Gave my company the courtesy to match what another company that was actively trying to recruit me offered, and they said they already have a plan for if I leave. This was a smaller family-owned company that I was working at for 2 years already, and because it was so small, I was the only person to do my job. Most of the people were great, generally good workplace environment aside from the obvious nepotism. At the time I was making decent money, but as COVID hit, and then inflation, a raise was necessary to keep up with the cost of living. My year review was coming up, and I'd figure I'd make my request then. Right around that time too, another company, same idea, just on a much bigger scale, reached out through my Indeed. I had updated my resume, but still felt really complacent at my current job. I ended up entertaining the offer, and went as far as the interview with this other company. Basically I knew I nailed it, and the next week, they offered me the job at a higher pay than my current one. I let my manager and the owner know, and offered to stay if they were willing to either match or at the very least meet in the middle, and the owner's response was, "We have a plan if she wants to leave. She can go if she wants to." My manager was actually the one to tell me to take the offer cause they don't appreciate you. So, after a day of thinking it through, I accepted the offer and immediately put in my 1-week notice. Unbeknownst to me, my manager was also applying for a new job, and she got her offer the same day I put in my notice. In that same week, another guy on the team who found out we were leaving, decided he was over it too, and put in his notice. All in all, 4 members of one team consisting of 6 put in their notice. Not to mention, less than a month later, the 2 remaining members would be gone too. From a handful of people I still talk to in that office, they've had a revolving door of people trying to fill my position and barely filling in any of the other ones. From what I heard, the last person they had that did a good job, left cause they refused to pay her more. Some places just don't ever learn. And unfortunately this job has completely turned me off of family-owned businesses. Returning a massive nearly empty box to Amazon, and so can you, smiley face. I ordered 2 items a few weeks ago, a drafting table and a small $32 plastic shelf bracket from Amazon, and for some illogical reason they put the 2 items together in a box that could have fit 2 drafting tables, but ended up being 75% empty and almost 4 feet by 3 feet by 1.5 feet. Of course the plastic shelf was massacred when I opened it from bashing around in the empty box against the table. I'm in Canada and shipping here is expensive due to so few people and such a large expanse of land to traverse. Our national post office has very high prices to ship. When I filed my refund claim at Amazon, I was surprised that they asked for the item to be returned because it was shattered and really small and could fit in my hand, but they provided a return shipping label for Canada Post, which I was to print and affix to a box. I don't have a printer, the closest post office is a 40-minute walk, and I injured my arms a couple weeks ago doing a YouTube push-up challenge. Teachable moment: don't do 100 wide arm push-ups every day for 2 weeks with a TRX, you will destroy your rotator cuffs and need physiotherapy, so I can't carry anything right now, which is why I had ordered from Amazon in the first place. Now, the logical thing to do in this situation would be to take a smaller box that I could easily handle with a backpack and return the small lightweight item in the smaller box. I waited as long as I could for my arms to get better, but nearing the last day to return the item, today I went to the library to print the return slip and I spent 20 minutes rigging up a system to string rope through the box so that I could tie it to my body and still roll on my bike to the post office. Yes, it was awkward biking through the city with a box tied to me and the wind nearly turned me into a sailbike a couple of times, but it was worth it. I shipped that massive box back to those ass clowns nearly empty because I knew it would cost at least $80 to mail something that size with Canada Post due to being based on dimensions, not weight. Now who's the smart one, Bezos? I can't collect mileage from my home office to my first stop. Okay. Obligatory, not me but my clever husband, and I'm on my phone, so forgive the formatting. Many years ago my hubs worked for an IT contracting company that managed a statewide power company's IT hardware and software. He traveled every day to swap parts and get things working for the various offices and substations. In typical contracting company fashion, in order to save money, the company he worked for paid mileage but didn't pay the national US average at the time. And when those mileage checks started stacking up, because the techs were covering the entire state and claiming the miles, the company decided to save even more money by putting restrictions on when the techs could collect mileage. My husband's boss, not a bad guy, just in a bad situation as the messenger everyone hated, told all the techs that they couldn't collect mileage from their home office to their first stop and from their last stop to home. This could potentially cut hundreds of miles from everyone's week and paycheck. Now cue my husband's malicious compliance. This company had a central hub for parts that was 20 miles away, and the techs were expected to pick up their parts from the hub or have the parts sent to a shipping hub, think UPS or FedEx shipping center, so they could pick them up and go to their calls for the day. The boss never said that they had to start at the central hub, just that they couldn't claim miles from home to first work stop. Now, the closest shipping hub was only 3 miles from our home. My husband started having all of his parts sent to that hub and made that his first stop of the day to pick up parts and the last stop of the day to check for any extra parts for the next day. He was only out 6 miles a day. After a couple weeks of this, my husband helped the other techs figure out which shipping hub was closest to them so they wouldn't lose out on mileage either. When his boss caught on and noticed that my husband's mileage was higher than it should have been, he called my husband in and started questioning him and telling him he wasn't following directions. My husband pointed out that it was never specified that everyone had to go to the central hub to start their day and that he was doing what he was supposed to do, not count his mileage from home to his first stop or from his last stop to home. His boss couldn't argue with that and had to let it go. This was a while ago, but still one of my favorite examples of malicious compliance. Edit. Since a couple people brought up that not paying mileage to and from home was actually an IRS thing, I wanted to add that the company never mentioned the IRS. In fact, they paid to and from home right from the start until about a year into the job. They changed policy and made it sound like a company decision, never mentioning that it was more than likely for federal reasons. Either way, I'm still proud of my man for finding a workaround. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.